In case you can't tell from the sound of my voice, I am unwell. I am under the weather. I have an illness. I have a sickness. I am diseased today. So, just because I'm diseased doesn't mean I'm not going to review a movie for you. This week, we're going to review Captain America: Brave New World. Let's talk about it. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Before we get started, click on the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you know whenever I post new content. Also, follow me over on Rumble because they're great and they are everything good that YouTube isn't. You can also follow me on X, Hometown0YT. You can also follow me on the IG, the Gram, the Insta, at Real Hometown Zero. Let's talk about Captain America: Brave New World. It is the fourth Captain America movie. The first Captain America movie, Captain America: The First Avenger. I saw that movie in Austin, Texas at a sneak preview. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. It proved that Chris Evans was a perfect casting choice for Captain America, despite having played the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four films. There was some hesitancy by the fan base to really embrace somebody who had played a Marvel role before, but of course that turned out to be dumb, and he was tremendous. And then the second movie. I was in New York when Captain America: The Winter Soldier came out. We'd gotten a bunch of Marvel movies in between. That movie is fantastic. Several years ago, I did my list and ranking of all the MCU films up through Avengers Endgame, and I listed number one as Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I freaking love that movie. It's tremendous. Everything about it, the plot twist regarding S.H.I.E.L.D., all of it. Love, love, love that movie. It is like a 10 out of 10. I think the world of that movie, the music, production values, direction, script, it's all flawless. The third movie, Captain America: Civil War, another tremendous effort. Felt much bigger than all of the other movies, felt more like an Avengers film, despite still focusing mainly on our boy Steve Rogers. So love Civil War as well. So that trilogy wraps up. Steve Rogers' Cap is in some other movies as well. Really, everything is wrapped up with a bow with Endgame. And now we have a new trilogy with Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, who was previously the Falcon and was given Cap's shield. Now, there were really two options to provide the next Captain America. Really, Steve Rogers, Cap's two closest friends. You could have had Bucky Barnes, you could have had Sam Wilson. The reason it can't be Bucky Barnes is because he was a assassin, like a Russian puppet who might have killed JFK and killed a bunch of famous figures and was responsible for like shaping history by just killing a bunch of dudes. So clearly, like, he was never going to be the next Captain America, despite his contributions to saving the world as like an adjacent member of the Avengers. And then, so Sam Wilson gets the shield, right? At the end of Endgame, he is the guy, he is the dude, he is him. The problem with this movie is that it's just not very good. It's not crap. I wouldn't call this movie ass, but I also wouldn't call it good. It's just kind of there. I think I have a great comparison. Do you remember The Incredible Hulk? This was like, I think like the second or third MCU movie. It was like right after Iron Man. I actually really enjoy that movie. This is back when Edward Norton himself was playing the Hulk. And it was like pretty good. This movie feels like a sequel to that film in not only like the tone, not tone, but like the story. There's major characters of that movie are in this movie, including the villain. Tim Blake Nelson's the leader. That's not a spoiler because it's in all the promotional material. But it feels like a sequel to that movie more than anything in the world. It even feels like a sequel more than it does to like the previous Captain America movies. It feels like a sequel to The Incredible Hulk. And as a result, it feels like a sequel in quality as well. It's just not a very good movie. It has some major problems with the script. It's all over the place. This looks and feels like a movie that was rewritten 7 million times And you can tell that there were reshoots done, and they really did a lot in like post-production to try and get this thing figured out and get it right. It's just very sloppy and messy, especially compared to the previous Captain America films, which felt very on point and on mission, and you knew exactly the story they were trying to tell. This rehashes a lot of old characters and concepts, and it feels like at this point they've just run out of steam. I will say I do give a lot of credit to Anthony Mackie. He does as good as he possibly can with the material. Doesn't mean he has the strength to carry a film on his own. Harrison Ford steps into the role of Thunderbolt Ross. It's a weird thing to have to like look at, and they've recast Marvel characters before. Probably the most high-profile one was when they recast Terrence Howard from Rhodey and gave that to Don Cheadle, and both guys did very different performances, but Terrence Howard was only in it for one movie, so we got very little of him as War Machine. We got nothing of him as War Machine is what I should have said. So it's weird to see Harrison Ford take over a role that was like so deeply ingrained in the MCU, right? And William Hurt died. You can't do anything about that. You have to recast the film. So Harrison Ford reached out to the producers and said, hey, I want to play this character. And of course, because he's Harrison freaking Ford, they said, yes, sir. We will give you money. You will play this character. And he does as good of a job as he possibly can with the material that he's been given. He still, in his advanced age, brings a lot of gravitas to all of his roles. And he does the best he can with what he has. I think the special effects are kind of all over the place. I actually really like the fight with him as Red Hulk. I think for the most part, it's pretty cool. You can also see Harrison Ford's like features in the face of Red Hulk, and I think that actually works pretty well in kind of drawing you into that fight. So overall, it's just kind of a middling, like mid-tier Marvel effort. It's not the absolute disaster piece that is the Marvels, but that doesn't mean it's a good movie. So that's what I think of Captain America: Brave New World. They did change the title, so I'm still having to get that right. Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I way off base? Is this movie the bee's knees, or is it a complete and utter trash heap? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m.